Hello everyone. Before I get started with our regular video, which is of course Truthful Tuesday, I did want to come here and talk about the fact that I am in full support of all of my trans siblings when I say hashtag reject trans bill 2026. Right, this bill has already gone through the Lok Sabha, the Rajya Sabha, and now also has been assented by our president, which means that it is on the next stage of its possible you know turn into a law, which will of course create a huge problem, and not only a problem, but it will definitely cut off a lot of people from getting the proper care they need, getting the proper attention they need to actually show off their individuality. Right, being a part of India, I do know that this country is as colorful and as diverse because we have people that are very um, you know because it is filled with individuals that if they do not have a way to voice out their opinions, a way to identify themselves as being something different from what everyone else is, it will definitely not create, the future does not look will not look as bright as it does right now. So with that said, as I said, I do support hashtag reject transbill 2026. And with that said, I do hope, and I do really pray for this bill to not get turned into law, so that there so that we still have a colorful and diverse future where there are people who can actually voice out who they are, so that they can present themselves as their true selves. And now, with that said, let's get started with this video. Hi everyone, welcome to Narain's Life with MS. This is Narain, and it's time for a Truthful Tuesday. And this Truthful Tuesday, I decided to revisit something that I talked about probably 2 or 3 times on this channel already. And that, of course, is the fact that, you know, sleep. I love sleep. If I could sleep more hours in the day, I would. Definitely, people who know me know that I can sleep in any place, in any in any position, in any place. And honestly, all I need to go to sleep is really just 2 minutes of silence, or 2 minutes of someone not annoying me, or at least even if there is loud music all around, just 2 minutes of getting used to said loud music or said a distraction that is available. So with that said, what is a truth that I want to talk about in regards to sleep? So one thing that I have noticed, and I really think that this is something that is maybe MS related, but it is also something that has to do with me, is that I do not get the best sleep that I desire these days. And the reason I do say that is because there so the reason I do say that is because I'm a very light sleeper. I think that is maybe more me than the fact that you know I want to have a deep sleep, or that I'm not a deep sleeper. But apart from that, usually my sleep does end up being very troubled. There are often times where there will be certain distractions. If I do wake up at certain points in the night, it will become practically impossible for me to fall back asleep, and by the time I fall back asleep, it's almost time to wake up. That is also another thing that I did want to talk about, that does happen as a result of being sleep challenged. I think that is one thing, because it is definitely one of those things where I wish I could sleep better. A lot of times I have been offered sleep aids. I did try sleep aids. I think I did mention trying something to help me sleep, and it probably scared me awake a lot more than put me to sleep. So obviously that is not one way to go. But I also think that part of it is that when you have something like MS, um, you want to build a certain discipline so that you pretty much have certain cues to whatever you want to do almost on a daily basis. So I tend to find that I want to sleep at around the same time, right? It's a little too late for me, but and then I do wake up around the same time, even if and it's usually before my alarm rings, so it's not even that I'm waking up because of an alarm. But yes, so one thing I did want to mention about one truth about MS is, yes, your sleep will probably not be the best. And you know if you are okay with taking sleep aids, by all means take them, right? I think I probably have a bad reaction to the one sleep aid I took, and I just told myself that it's best that I don't take them. um, and that is what it is. But of course there are other things that do end up happening as a result of being a light sleeper, being a sleeper that is not able to complete their sleep, their full sleep. And that is the fact that I cannot I usually find it very difficult to get the ample amount of rest, right? There are times, especially during the day, where I will feel drowsy, but more so than feeling drowsy or needing to take a nap in the middle of the afternoon. The biggest impediment to having that lack of sleep is that I cannot you know there are times that my brain does not work as well, right? I have definitely discussed brain fog in the past. I usually feel that with improper sleep, I think there are higher instances of brain fog, and there are higher instances of me forgetting what I'm talking about, or even which word do I need to use next. So there are lots of issues to not getting the proper sleep. But more so than just not getting the proper sleep, I think one thing that is very important is with a condition like MS, and here I am of course talking about a lot of other autoimmune conditions that do where patients do need to get an ample amount of rest, or maybe even more rest than regular people, is because we need that extra time to be able to repair our bodies, right? At the end of the day, uh, you know science has not found a way to repair our bodies. Um, there are lots of alternative therapies that are there, but usually, even for these alternative therapies, one thing that is very common or very commonly said is that we do need to live a healthy lifestyle. And really, the I would want to say the pinnacle of a healthy lifestyle, I mean, you can call it the pinnacle, or you can even call it sort of the foundation of the healthy lifestyle, is the good sleep, right? Sleeping for an ample amount of time, which I don't have. Sleeping with the right amount of, having the light sleep, the deep sleep, the REM sleep, which I know I don't have. And of course, on just to add, a cherry on top of all of this Sunday, that is my sleep. Um, I usually wake up because I need to pee in the middle of the night, and that is the wrench that pretty much rips my entire thing apart. Because um, the thing with when you have to wake up to use the washroom, is, if it happens early on at night, if it's happening between, let's say, midnight and 2 a.m., I'm not going to go back to sleep at least until 5, and I'm going to wake up around 6. Or if I do wake up around 5, then I am able to go back to sleep. But of course, you know, I won't feel the effects of, the entire sleep that I've had, more the, short nap that I had before I have to wake up. So, of course, that is one truth of, having MS. It is definitely one thing that I'm pretty sure a lot of other people share. And if you do have those same issues about having, um, you know, having sleep issues, especially, if you have an autoimmune condition like multiple sclerosis, please do share them. Please do give any insights, any feedback, um, or even anything that did work for you, so that I can even try myself. Right? One thing that I've noticed is that if I do end up meditating before I sleep, I end up having a much deeper sleep. The only issue is the meditation does cut into the time that I have for sleeping. So, it's a little bit of a catch-22, but, if it is helping me get a more restful sleep, a healthier sleep, I am all for it. So yes, I will be looking for your tips and tricks so that we can get the conversation started. And with that said, this is Naren Sai with MS. My name is Naren, and of course, here's wishing you a good night, sweet dreams, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.